first story, our opening story, is, of course, Jey Uso and Roman Reigns met face-to-face for rules of engagement. They wanted to talk about what was going down. Now, look, I want to talk a little bit about Jey Uso getting his opportunity, okay? He got a chance last week on SmackDown, and I thought he knocked it out of the park, right? He was there by himself. There was no Roman, and the crowd was behind him, right? The crowd was behind him, and that matters a lot because when you're in the ring with Roman, of course, they're going to cheer for you because they're booing Roman, right? They're booing Roman. But the question is, when Roman's not there, do they still cheer for you? And they did. They did. So I thought Jey had a great showing last week on SmackDown by himself. Now, look, lots of smart people whose opinions I respect, have been trying to just twist themselves in knots, trying to imagine a scenario in which Jey Uso beats Roman Reigns. And I just want to say, stop it. Stop it. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. Look, man, Jey had his moment, okay? Pinning Roman Reigns in London at what was that, Money in the Bank, that was Jey's moment. That was a huge moment. That was the first person to pin Roman Reigns in 3 years, and that was huge. And it was dope that Roman let his cousin be the one to have that moment. And looking at it, right, like, I think what Jey will get out of this is when it's all said and done, we'll look at Jey and we'll call him the Tribal Chief. As a matter of fact, his new merchandise, his new t-shirts say the real chief, right? So that tells me that that's the end game of this story for Jey Uso. And the problem is, the reason why Jey is not going to win at SummerSlam is because they're not battling for the Tribal Chief, right? They're battling for the title. If they were battling just for the Tribal Chief, then I would think Jey had a legit shot because, like I said, I think that's the end game of the story for Jey Uso. But because the title is on the line, Jey's not winning. Jey's not winning. I'm sorry. You can boo me all you want to, but Jey is not winning that title at SummerSlam. He'll have a great match. You know what I mean? I'm sure that Roman's not going to go in there and just squash him and stack him and pin him sideways like he did Daniel Bryan and Edge. But I mean, look, man, like it or not, that spot is being reserved. That spot is being groomed for Cody Rhodes. I have never seen a next in line guy in WWE get groomed for the top spot in the way that we're seeing Cody Rhodes get groomed for that top spot. I mean, this guy had a red carpet premiere to his Peacock documentary. First of all, how many people that's not the champion are getting a big deal made out of their documentary like this? And you know, of course, over time, WWE always had like these disc sets they would do, right? Where they would put out, the CM Punk anthology and all this other stuff, right? So it's not new for a superstar to have the documentary treatment, but again, the Peacock show, the Peacock documentary crew have been following Cody Rhodes for over a year now. And we know because he tells us every time he gets in front of a microphone, like, I wonder when this documentary is going to come out because these people have been following me for so long. He says it at all the press conferences, right? And I saw all the big news people who were at the debut, the premiere for his big documentary. He's getting all kinds of news coverage. And so, I mean, look, man, like the proof is in the pudding. Cody is next up. Like, I'm sorry. It is what it is. The throne is waiting for Cody, okay? That throne he smashed is waiting for him to come back and sit on it. It just, that sounded kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. The throne, but he is the next in line for sure. Now look, what's important for Jey, right? Because we're talking about Jey Uso here. What's important for Jey is the way he handles this situation, right? If Jey Uso handles this situation in the right way, this could lead to more opportunities for him to do big stuff as a singles act going down the line, right? If he gets more and more appearances where the crowd is really behind him, really cheering for him, chanting, ooh, so, ooh, so. If that still happens for him when Roman is not around, then I think you'll see Jey get some shots to maybe have some singles titles on his own. But as of right now, it's just not in the cards, right? Because those titles are spoken for. It is what it is. So Jey had his rules of engagement with the tribal chief. And, Roman was trying to big dog Jey the whole time. He kept calling him Little Jey. Throughout the whole thing, he kept calling him Little Jey. He said, Little Jey, you still want to do this? Jey was like, you called the shot. Now I got to get you. Then Roman said, you don't get it. You're just a soldier. You're just a pawn in this game. So then Roman signed the contract and he slid it over to Jey. Jey looked at the contract and then he tore the contract up. And he said, they don't need the contract because the contract is in the blood. He said, this is tribal combat now. And Roman looked at Jey and he's like, do the elders know about this? Jey said it was their idea. It was their idea. So if the elders thought that there needed to be tribal combat, that tells me that within this, mythical tribe that we never get to see, these elders who we always hear about but never get to hear from, there is some doubt about Roman's status as the tribal chief. All right, there's something we might need to look into. So Jey tells him that it was the elders' idea. And in tribal combat, anything goes. So Roman stands up and he puts the title on the table and he says, it's nothing to me. It's nothing. And then Jey says, I said it's tribal combat. And when he said that, then Roman, real slowly took off the tribal chief leg. What do they call it? I think it's a fala ula. It's a ula fala. That's what it's called. It's a certain kind of necklace made from a certain kind of fruit. A ula fala. So Roman was slowly taking off the ula fala, and then he lays it on top of the title. All right. And so then him and Jey stand up. They walk in front of the table. They give each other kind of a dap, put their hands on each other's shoulders, and they put their foreheads together, like real ceremonial. And they just kind of look at each other. And then Roman just has this look on his face like, man, I kind of can't believe I'm going through this. Almost as if to say, for even as bad as he has done his cousin over the course of these past 3 years, he still can't believe what he's going to have to do to him in this tribal court. In this tribal combat. And so this is something else, man. Like Roman is really taking it to another level with his emotions, just expressing how important it is that they're actually taking it to this level. So the way Roman was selling this, right, was just really reinforcing that this is a big deal, that this is not just another match. This is not just this is not just anything. Like this is a big deal. Tribal combat is nothing. Jey tried to describe as they were sitting there, tribal combat means anything goes. It means I can hit you with a stick. I can put you through a table. I can flip, do this, so pretty much what he was telling us, the audience, is that it's a hardcore match, right? It's a hardcore match. Anything goes, any type of rules, whatever, which I always think is funny, right? Because in wrestling, why would you invite the bad guy to a no rules match? That's not very smart. Why would you do that? Because you're going to look back when it's all said and done. You're going to be like, damn, I almost had him till that unforeseen breaking of the rules happened. And now I lost. It's like good guys just set themselves up for failure. So whatever. He did it to himself. But here's the deal. Sorry, got a little. Ugh. You have like that sneeze that kind of sits like in the back of your nose, but like you're gonna cough it, but it just doesn't really move. That's the worst. Sorry. Anyway, put it in reverse there. So Roman takes off the Ulafala, lays it down, and then him and Jey, they do the embrace. And as Roman goes to leave the ring, Solo flips the table and he grabs Jey, going to give him the spike. But as he goes to give Jey the spike, Roman grabs Solo's arm to stop him from giving him the spike. And as Solo is looking back at Roman, Jey drops Solo with the super kick. And that was a moment. That was a moment. Because we've been seeing all these little tiny seeds being planted of distrust between Solo and Roman, right? Solo's the last soldier that Roman has left. And when we see the little things like Roman sitting in the locker room and he's kind of staring at the Ulafala, twirling it in his hands, and then he looks over and he sees Solo staring at the Ulafala too. And then when Solo sees Roman noticing him staring at the Ulafala, he doesn't look away. He doesn't do like your dog and run away when the dog notices that you're looking at their food. No, Solo is still looking at it. And then he kind of slowly, looks back at Roman and he's like, yeah, But they are giving every hint in the world that Solo is going to turn on Roman. And then with Roman holding Solo's arm as Jey super kicked him, that just driving the wedge even deeper between Solo and Roman. So we're getting all these seeds planted, right, for what's going to happen, right? I mean, listen, I don't care. You can plant all the seeds. You can plant a tree. You can do anything you want to. I will not believe that Jey is going to beat Roman until I see it. I just am not going to believe it. I can't see it, man. I can't see it. Like I said, they've done everything they can to tell us that Cody Rhodes is up next. Cody Rhodes is in line. Cody Rhodes is the next man waiting. And if that's the case, then Cody can't be the second one to beat Roman for the championship, right? That's not his grand finish the story thing, right? You're doing all this for Cody Rhodes. If they weren't doing everything in the world to tell us that Cody Rhodes is the next special guy, then I would believe more that Jey had a chance to win the title at SummerSlam and kind of kick Roman out of the bloodline and assume the leadership as the tribal chief. I would actually believe it. But I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it because they're not giving. They seem to have too much invested in Cody's story. Cody needs to finish the story, and so because of that, I just cannot believe that Jey is going to take these titles from Roman. Now, if this match was just for the Ulafala, just for the tribal chiefship, the head of the bloodline, if it was just for that, then I would think Jey had a great chance to win. I would think Jey had all the momentum. You see the seeds being planted of Solo potentially turning on Roman. I would think Jey had a shot here. But because I believe that title is not coming off Roman until WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, I think this is just kind of the end of the road for Jey. I'm sorry, Jey. I'm sorry, Jey. I think SummerSlam is going to be a dead end for you, brother. I think SummerSlam is not going to end the way you want it to, but I do think there's going to be some twists and turns and some wrinkles in the story. You got to think about it like this. We got a long way to go until next April, right? We still got Survivor Series. We still got Royal Rumble, all the way to get to WrestleMania. So a lot has to happen between now and then. I don't believe that this bloodline story is even close to being over, right? I don't think this is even close to being over. So, where does this go? Who knows, right? Who knows? But you know what? I sure am having fun watching. And that's, I think that's all that counts. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if you like what we're doing here, please make sure that you like this video, okay? If you listen to this on this podcast, make sure you hit the like, drop a rating on there, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about what we're talking about here, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you get notified each and every time I drop some brand new fire content on this page. Holla at your boy.